The highly anticipated HBO series House of Dragons premiered this past weekend. The show is a prequel to the most watched television show of all time, Game of Thrones.
A local business owner actually owns the rights to manufacture and sell replicated weapons from the show and says his sales have quadrupled since the new series aired Sunday night. The Game of Thrones fan in our station, Riley Nagel, checked out his store and has the story.
I didn't walk in here as Jon Snow, but I'm walking out as him.
I would love to be at the center of a Game of Thrones world that Warner Brothers is producing.
Chris Beasley grew up loving fantasy books and movies like Lord of the Rings. After graduating college, he began selling knives and Lord of the Rings swords online, which turned into Beasley creating his own manufacturing business to sell his own weapons.
And I've upgraded from apartment to a garage to a barn to a warehouse.
In 2006, he says he emailed the author and creator of the Game of Thrones books, George R.R. Martin, asking if he could buy the rights to manufacture swords from his books, which Martin agreed to. Beasley says 3 months later, HBO bought the rights to produce the TV show.
I was able to use the relationship with George to get the relationship with HBO, and then when Game of Thrones blew up and became the most popular television show in the history of television, now I'm able to get meetings anywhere in Hollywood, and it kind of became the sword guy for Hollywood, where I'm the guy that gets to do all those things.
Beasley explained HBO will send him the actual weapons from the show, which he then mass produces and sells around the world. He says customers he sells to aren't just typical fantasy fans.
They said, I really need this shipped right away because it's the only thing my mom wants for Mother's Day, was a sword.
People can buy helmets, wardrobes, and of course plenty of swords from the show. Beasley says their most popular item is Jon Snow's Longclaw sword.
Of course, he fights with his sword a lot, so that sword gets more use than any other sword on the show, and we sell more of Longclaw than all other products combined.
He says his work with HBO led to him making replica weapons to be used on SNL, Late Night with Seth Meyers, and a handful of commercials. He admits his business slowed down after Game of Thrones ended in 2019, but he says he expected things to pick back up when House of Dragons released.
Okay, our business is going to have something cool and fun to do for the next 6 years, the next 7 years, and that's exciting.
Beasley says he'll be very busy for the next few years, and you can find him working in his store. As for me, you can find me in Kings Landing.
Reporting in Chattanooga, I'm Riley Nagel, Local 3 News.